have like you go to Costco and you'll get a tub of Sour Patch Kids. You're like, once a month, I have candy.
Yeah, I'll go home and just like open the whole
so
Swedish
funny.
fish and just kind of,
You're like, oh, candy.
like when they say it's feel good food, it is feel good.
If it like makes you crash, like I'll eat
Yeah, it
candy.
does. Mm-hmm.
I don't like candy that much. I like dark chocolate though.
I do. I love it.
Dark chocolate is healthy for you, I think.
No one knows. It looks and tastes like it's healthy for you.
No, it's like better if you're gonna eat candy. I think if you just eat like really high cacao, like dark chocolate, I think it's good for you.
What's it?
Like, so it's like 60%, 70%, 80% dark chocolate without like a lot of stuff in it, without like.
Doesn't have a lot of sugar in it, right?
No, it's like minimal sugar.
Okay.
And the like has antioxidants or something.
Something like that.
So it's like healthy-ish.
Yep.
As far as junk food.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like almost every other thing is bad for you. Now everything's gluten-free.
Right.
So what is good for you
gluten is
anymore?
like fine for you, I think. I think the best way, this is how I try to eat, is I just try to eat like whole foods mostly, like just eating lots of like fruits and veggies, like fresh fruits and veggies.
Yeah.
And then, but like allowing myself to splurge if I want to. But like most of my diet, I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat something that's like minimally processed. So like I got these like butternut squash and I'll like put them in the oven. And I'm like, tasty. Or like some kale, like saute that with like tomatoes or whatever. Kale. Yeah. And then put some like nutritional yeast on it. Because it's just like, okay, that's pretty basic.
Have you been to Tropical Smoothie Cafe? Do they have those in the boroughs?
I don't know. Like these names, yeah. I probably have been there. I just am not as familiar with the names, but
they have a lot of those on Long Island, and they have these. They have smoothies, obviously, right?
Yeah.
They have this one smoothie called the Detox.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of kale and
kale is so good.
Spinach and stuff like that.
Oh, like all those greens.
It's great.
All those greens, and that's like that will get you shitting.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's a good one. It's a good shit. It's not like
it's a quality shit. It's not the runs. It's not like ugh.
Oh man.
It's not the Swedish fish jumping from your butthole.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. When I was in high school, when I used to eat a lot more junk food.
Yeah.
I bought these.
I was like, he's not recording this.
No, he is. No, we're rolling. Yeah, we're just recording. Yeah. So.
Are we really?
Yeah.
This is the podcast.
Oh yeah. That's the thing about a podcast. It just keeps going. It keps going. You know what I mean?
You're kidding me. You were just talking about poop. Mm-hmm. You're joking with me.
All right. It's level 15 of My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. I have a very special guest with me today. Miss Eaves is here. How are you, Eaves?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I guess you're so used to how I used to do it on radio. Everything is kind of like, this is where it starts. This is where it ends.
I just thought we were just chatting. I didn't realize that this whole digestive, because I love talking about my digestive system.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was just for everyone to hear. But
yeah.
Welcome to my colon. Welcome.
Welcome to my, yeah. That reminds me of that. You watch Rick and Morty?
Yeah, I watch some. I'm not like a super, super like religious watcher of Rick and Morty, but I've seen like a handful of episodes, and they're enjoyable.
In the first season, Rick takes Morty inside the body of a dead man.
Oh my God.
So when you said, welcome to my colon, I'm thinking of that episode.
But I'm not dead unless you try to do something to me. Hey, everyone, I'm in Queens. Help me. Help a bitch.
Yeah, make sure you keep those.
Make sure I'm not killed.
Yeah. Because a lot of your earrings are food. So you have watermelon earrings, right?
I have so many different kinds of earrings. I have like a square of dark chocolate and a cup. Like one of them's a square of dark chocolate and one of them's like a mug.
Yeah.
I have pizza. I have mangoes. I have avocados. I have watermelons. Now I have colon earrings. I have some Frida Kahlo earrings. I have like matte earrings.
Yeah. Very creative stuff too. But I want to talk about your other creative endeavor, music. So your latest EP, Me AF, fantastic. I love it. Has a certain charisma that I love in music, especially hip hop. But Paper Mache, it's kind of an ode to single life.
Right. It sure is.
So, what are some things about being single that you think is misunderstood?
Well, one, I think we live in a very, like, romantic, obsessed society. So, like, all the songs are about being in love or, like, having your heart broken. And there's not enough to be, like, this love for yourself. Because I think a lot of times when people are like, no one loves me, that's just so wrong, because it's just like, yeah, no one loves you romantically, but let's talk about self-love, because in like single paper mache single AF, I'm talking about like self-love, like I'm loving myself, but there's also like the love you have with your friends and your family, the love you have for like things you're passionate about doing. There's so much love, but we're like fixated on just like romantic and sexual love, right? So when I wrote that song, I was just like, okay, but yeah, so I don't have this one type of love, but I'm still happy. It's fine. And I think that's the message. Just like, I mean, I'm surprised there's not more songs about that, because there's so many single people. And we're out here feeling like something's wrong with us, but it's just fine.
I feel like, yeah, there is a lot of single shaming.
There's so much single, like, what's wrong with you? People are always like, oh, you're single? You'll find someone. And I'm like, not looking. Give me a book. But it's just like, people are just like pushing their like feelings about it onto you, or like society's feelings. But it's like, it's fine. It's just like a state. And just as easily as you're in a relationship, you can be like broken up with or divorced or whatever. So it's not like a permanent status if you're like coupled. And so I just feel like people should just like look at single people not with like sadness or like what's wrong with them, and just be like, okay, this is a person who either by choice or not by choice has decided to like not be partnered at the moment, and that's fine.
I'm just so curious of like how people get into relationships now. Does that sound crazy?
No, it doesn't sound crazy, because that's what I've been thinking. I'm just like, I mean, I like quit online dating. I was just like, this is not working. And it's like really, I think it's really damaging for relationships that you just have all these people you're just like swiping through. You're not really giving people a chance. You're not getting to know people. And as soon as someone shows a flaw, they're just like, it's like, bye, you know? And so it's just like, yeah, like, because now like everyone is online, but I feel like online is not the best way to like have connections. Of course, people find like cool partners online, but I think it's probably better to like find someone doing something that you love to do. So at least you're connecting over something deeper than like we both trying to like fuck, or we lonely and that's why we're online looking, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's like pretty basic. But if you like meet someone doing like music, or meet someone like volunteering, at least you're like, oh, we share these values or we share these interests, and it's something deeper to connect with than like, oh, I'm lonely, so I'm looking for someone, and then you like read their profile and you project all your hopes and dreams onto that person, you know?
Right.
It's just so weird.
Yeah, I mean, because when I meet people like couples, I try to like to understand like how they got together, because it's, you know, today, like, at least for me, I'm not the type of person that's like gonna go pick up a woman, go pick up chicks or whatever. I'm not that type of person.
Right.
So I want to know how people kind of just like, how do you say you have feelings for someone? You know what I mean?
I mean, I think, well, this is the thing. I think most people are just online looking, so they're not even able to meet their friend and be like, I have feelings for you. They're just like, these are all the people in the people box who are looking, and I'm just going to grab a person that's looking, and then we'll try to like, it will either click, or we'll try to force a click to happen, or we'll like, it will not happen. But like, I think it's better if you're just like hanging out with someone like IRL, and then you're like, oh, you're cool. This is a vibe. Let's just keep being friends. So I feel like if any successful relationship, the basis of it will have to be friendship, right? Or it's just like, seems like it's not going to go very far.
Yeah, because you have to be able to kind of have a conversation with someone before like anything else can possibly happen. Right. But some people just have sex with each other, and that's it.
And that's like fine.
Crazy. Yeah.
I think it's like fine, but it's just like, I just don't see that as being like, I mean, and unless like through the sex you have like a deeper friendship, I just feel like if you're going to have like a healthy relationship, you have to have a friendship there where you're like respecting the person and you see them as a person and not just as like an end goal. Like, this is going to be my girlfriend, this is gonna be my boyfriend, this is what I'm looking for. And so you're just like a way for me to achieve this status that I need to be approved by society. If you're like, no, this is a dope person and I like them as a person and I'm like vibing with them, I think that's the only way it really works. But like, I think most people are seeing it as like this end goal. Like, I'm single, don't want to be single. This is the person that will get me to this goal of not being single. Yeah. And so then they like date them.
Like, I have to be married. I'm about to turn 30 or whatever. I need to have marriage, kids, but so you're single too, so we have to be together, you know what I mean?
Or like force some kind of connection. And it's just like, I mean, I don't want kids, I'm very public about it, I'm not gonna have them. But it's just like so much pressure too. Like, oh, you're a woman and you're not gonna have kids, but it's fine. You know, like the world is real overpopulated, and we're probably all gonna die soon anyway because of the environment. Like, we're not very nice to the environment, and it's just like we're running out of resources. So like, why would I have one more child?
And the hurricanes are getting a lot more deadlier,
right?
Every year,
right?
Winters are getting shorter. You know, the
seasons are all extreme. Yeah, it's getting very, very extreme, and like the summers are hotter, the winters are colder. Like, everything is just like, there's a lot of people, especially like people in third world countries. They're the people who are impacted the most in the first. You know, like smaller island nations, they're getting flooded more, and like there's all these problems and. It's just like we're just super wasteful. It's like I don't want to have a child and bring them into something I think is going to be a mess. And like I just feel like there's so many kids anyway. Like I don't need to contribute. Like there's already I'm not going to save the human race by having a child.
Right.
You know, and there's also that pressure like, oh, you're single, you're a woman, you're single and you don't want children. Oh, you're a bad woman. And I'm like, sure I am.
Just own it. Just own that whole
I'm
thing.
A bad woman.
So, you're very confident being single, as you know. I understand.
It's been a process. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I'm just like accepted it. I'm just like, this is just a state, and it's fine. Like, there's so many cool things about being single. Like, I last year I just like lived in Montreal because I just wanted to. But if I had a partner, I wouldn't be able to be like, I'm just gonna move to another country. You know, like I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to be like, oh, I'm just gonna go. You know, I mean, it would just be more of a conversation. I can't just easily make these decisions. Like, oh, I'll just go on tour for six weeks in Europe, you know, like without like thinking about the other person. But I can just be a little bit more like selfish with my career and my art.
There's no buffer zone with you. You just kind of keep going.
Yeah.
But even with your newfound confidence of being single, do you still feel some sort of pressure to be in a relationship at all?
No, I don't. Because, no. I used to feel that way, but now I'm like over the hill. And so it's just like, whatever, you know, like I'm at the age now where I'm just like, okay, people maybe would just be like, you know, looking at my age alone, they're like, oh, she's too old. So now I'm just like accepting it. I'm just like, whatever, if this is what it is, this is what it is. And if I meet someone, I'll actually have a better relationship because it's like actually cool. We like each other based off of real things and like our interests, our personalities. And it's not about, like, being this, like, perfect, like, wifey partner for someone.
I think that's great because when I was a lot younger, I always thought, oh, I need to be in a relationship. I need to have this. I need to have that.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I wasted a lot of time thinking like that.
Yeah.
So now that I'm older, I feel like that part of wanting to be in a relationship is small. It's not that I don't want. I want to be in one.
Yeah, of course. Everyone, we want to have connections just as humans, but it's like you don't want to date anyone just for the sake of dating someone.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's where I am. And and that's why I stopped online dating because I was just like, if I meet people out doing stuff that I love to do, then like maybe I'll just like click with someone and we're like, this is a vibe. We get along really well. Like, you know, like we can support each other, like reaching our goals. That's another thing that's like a big thing for me is like, I'm very intense with like the arts hustle. Like I'm very like I do a lot of different mediums and like art mediums, and I want to have someone who's just as like passionate about their thing, you know, and like that we can both like support each other, like being better at what we're trying to do, you know?
Yeah, like for me, I love music, so like I understand like an artist's trajectory. Like I understand like you would have to go on tour, you would have to do this, you have to play shows,
right?
You know, you have to be always moving. You know, if you have free time, that free time is spent probably recording. But then with an artist like you, you know, you're an independent artist. You work for yourself, so you dictate your own schedule when you want to. So if you want to go on vacation for a month somewhere, you would probably do it, right?
But I never really go on vacation though. That's the thing. Like if I'm going out of the country, it's touring, or like I'll live somewhere and I'll just take my work with me because like most of my work I can do remotely. So I'm just like, I can still do all my design work in Montreal. Like I was not like chilling, or like made a music video for like an op-ed video for New York Times while I was in Montreal. So I was still like working and I was still like hustling and stuff. But it's like I can do that like anywhere. So and that's and that's like what I like too about how my career has gone. Is like I have music, I have like these like paper mache things I do. I'm starting to get it more in film and like directing stuff, and then I'm like, of course, like design, which is my bread and butter, but it's just like I can kind of bounce around to a bunch of different things. So like if I'm like feeling not inspired in music, then maybe I'll like, I made that taco because I was just like, oh my God, I made a giant paper mache taco. Everyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, I made that taco. They're like, was it good? No, it was a giant paper mache taco. But I was just feeling like very like lackluster, like not having inspiration. So I was like, oh, let me make this taco. Because that will just be something fun and like meditation. Because like I use paper mache as a form of meditation because it's just like something I can just totally find flow with and like be very mindful while I'm doing it. And so it's just like, okay, I'll just do that. And then like last week I wrote like 2 songs. I had some like ideas for some like stories that I'm working on, and like it was just like a bunch of stuff, and it was just like from like reading books and like making that taco.
So you're always in motion. You're always creating something.
Yeah, exactly.
You're never not doing that.
Yeah, never.
I'm sure like it would drive you crazy if you like had nothing to do, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. It feels weird. Like I'm not a person who can just sit around and like watch TV. I'm like I can sit and like read books, and I'm trying to get more into like watching documentaries. So that's something at least I feel like I'm like taking in content that could like inform like art or like that's like more meaningful. But I don't want to just sit and watch like reality TV for like, you know, hours. That would feel like not great for me. But yeah, I just like don't feel comfortable like not working on art. And art is actually how I like express myself best, and like how if I'm like depressed or anxious, it's like I kind of can channel that into like making work. Or someone like hurt my feelings, I can like process that by like writing a song or whatever, you know.
I think I get inspired by, you know, watching stuff, like watching a television show or going to a concert or whatever. That seems like things that you would do in a leisure time, but those things kind of inspire me to do what I do.
No, totally.
You know? Like when I went to go see you, I was like, you know what? This show was so crazy. Like it made me like kind of want to do my thing a lot more. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, I think I totally agree, because I was like also, I've been reading a lot of books lately, and just reading more books, I feel like that's also helped my creative output. So I feel like you have to have like consuming but also like creating. It's like that balance, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes that like consumption of like creative materials helps to like you see things in new ways. But I try to also like not just consume the same types of things. I'm just like, let me be like very curious, and like if someone brings me something, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Even if it's something I might not naturally appeal to me, I'm just like, oh, let me like check that out and see, and like, oh, that's like just being curious and like finding new stuff to like consume.
What's an example of that?
Oh my goodness. So like I was just like, because like, you know, YouTube, they'll like recommend like videos. You can fall into a YouTube hole. And I'm like never, it's like this one person's channel that I was just like never would think I would be into, because it's like one of those like kind of like consumer review channels. But then I was like, let me click on this video. It seems interesting. And the woman who runs the channel had bought like this box, like Amazon. This is like really messed up. It really troubled me. And I didn't know about this till I watched this video. But when you like return something that you buy on Amazon, basically sometimes it doesn't go on the shelves. It's not like resold at Amazon. They just send it like really low, like sell it really, really low prices to like these liquidators who then just group them in giant lots. Like this is the office supply lot. And then people just buy a box of it, which probably usually they throw away half of it because it's like super cheap. So if it's like a box of like $5,000 worth of merchandise, the person buys it for like $200. And so they're like, oh, I want these 2 things, and they can throw it away. So it's like pretty wasteful, you know? So I just like learned about, she like got one of those boxes. I watched a video of her like unboxing it and being like, this is everything. And some of it's broken. And it's just like, you know, it's just like weird, just like how we're thinking about stuff and how we're like so mindless about like buying stuff. And it wasn't like an environmental channel, but it just like made me have like so many feelings like from an environmentalist standpoint. I was like, that's really wrong. And maybe I should, I mean, I've like, when I came back from Europe, I was like, I'm not going to shop at Amazon so much. I just think it's like not the best look, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like even more like confirmation that, yeah, I should continue like not doing this.
When I was in college, I used to rent, you know, books on Amazon, and returning them was so annoying.
Yeah.
Because you got to get the box, you got to print out the label,
right,
and then you got to put the book in the box, and then you got to send that box out,
right,
and make sure it gets delivered. And if you forget, you have to pay for the book.
Right.
That annoys the hell out of me.
Right, but like but I like But then it's like, I'm thinking now, like, that book, it might have just have not even have gone to Amazon. Like, they could have gotten it and just sold it to a liquidator. And that just, like, also bothers me because, like, how much of this stuff marked up that they can be so, like, blasé about just, like, throwing it away.
It's like buying a car now, right?
Yes.
When you buy a car, it's, like, worth, like, what, half of what you paid for it originally?
Right. And so it's just, like, the corporations are just getting more and more rich, and then we're feeding the system in a way. But I'm trying, I mean, and I know I'm not, like, myself, I'm not going to just, like, change things, but collectively, if everyone's, like, hey, we're all going to think about our consumption, we're all going to, like, maybe go to the library more. There's, like, this really cool app, if you have a library card called Libby, that you can download on your iPad, and you can just check out ebooks.
I like actual.
Oh, you like actual books? I, like, read a lot of ebooks, actually, because it's just, like, because I don't like clutter, right? So it's just, like, I have my iPad, and I'll just, like, check out ebooks on the library, because it's just, like, it reads, like, because I have an iPad, it, like, reads, like, more like a book than reading it on your phone, because that is kind of annoying to read it on your phone, but...
Yeah.
But also, too, with books, like, I don't know, I feel like maybe, I think in some ways we should buy books, but in some ways, like, we should also, like, circulate books, right?
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, because I want to support authors, too, so I'm not, like, saying, like, don't buy books, but, like, I think we should be more mindful of just, like, everything we're buying.
Aren't certain books, don't they use recyclable paper?
I mean, some books do, and it's just, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just thinking about people who buy books that they don't read, and they just collect dust, and then they just, like, end up tossing them. And it's just, like, let's just be more mindful, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
Because I think a lot of stuff, because, like, right now, it's, like, so, like, we have so many things, and it's so easy to acquire things, and, like, the value we're paying for things is not actually the true value of what's, like, the resources that were put into it. And so it's so easy for us to be, like, mindless consumers.
And you know what? Because I think that's something you have to control. Because before you got here, I saw an ad for because there's a lot of websites that have, like, limited edition T-shirts, graphic stuff, and I saw this sweater of Michael Jackson and Janet from the Scream video,
right?
And I wanted the sweater so bad,
right?
But it's expensive. But I just thought to myself, wait, you just bought 2 new sweaters online,
right?
And you got a bunch of sweaters at your house that you didn't really wash, so don't do that. And that voice in my head came out, so I'm like, okay, I gotta not do it, even though I really wanted it because it's so awesome.
But it's so easy too, and we're taught to be consumers. Like, in this society, we're taught to be, like, to buy things. There's just kind of how you identify with people. It's how you're, like, it's almost like we're relating to people through the things we buy. Like, you buy these things, so you're this group, and you buy these things, and so you're this other group. And it's just, like, I just wish that we could all be more, like, conscious of, like, what we're buying, and, like, you know, think about, like, just buying less stuff, or, like, only stuff we love, or, like, trading and swapping stuff. Like, if you buy a book and you're like, hey, I'm gonna give this to my friend, and they have this book, and we'll swap books, and, like, or, like, we'll swap sweaters, or, like, I don't ever wear this sweater, but it's still in good condition, I think my friend will like it, maybe we can, like, swap it.
I think it's funny we're having this conversation, like, a month before the holiday season starts.
Right.
When all the stores and all the internet traffic. Yep.
Black Friday. Oh, my God. I hate Black Friday.
Same.
But, yeah, it's just, like, I mean, I feel like buying stuff we think is going to make us happier, because this is the promise of advertising, that buying things will make us happier, but it never does. It might temporarily make us happier, but it doesn't make us happier in the long term. And actually having a lot of, like, because usually if you think about it, you have a bunch of clothes in your closet, there's, like, 7 things you usually wear, like, a lot. And then everything else is kind of just, like...
You wear it to sleep, or you probably don't wear it at all.
You probably don't wear it at all. So I try to go through my closet, like, once a year. And I don't, like, have, like, as many clothes as I used to have, because I used to, like, love to have, like, a lot of stuff. And be like, have I worn this in 6 months? And if I don't, I just get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, I'm at the point where the stuff I bought recently... that's not getting rid of, because I'm really conscious. Like, I like this. It makes me feel good when I'm wearing it. It's very versatile. I can, like, wear it in all these different situations. So it's not something that will just be like, ooh, this wild thing that I can wear one time and I'll just keep it, buy it. Like, why can't we just, like, rent those wild things, you know?
Renting clothes?
Yeah, you can rent clothes. Like, Rent the Runway. There's a bunch of stuff. Like, I think there just needs to be new business models, right?
Oh, yeah, what am I talking about? I rented a suit once.
Right, yeah, you can just, like, but because I think there's some things, like, yeah, maybe you do just need to rent a suit. Maybe if you're not a person who wears a suit all the time, if you just need it, like, once or twice in, like, a couple of years, just, like, rent that thing. Or, like, you know, if it's, like, a fancy occasion, instead of me buying a dress, like, why don't I just, like, rent the dress? And then, like, is there an economy that we can start that's like based off of not like consuming so much, but it's like it's still like an economy there, and like there's places that we can contribute to the economy because like the service is like buying the dress but not like wearing the dress but not like owning the dress.
I think Bandcamp is a good thing because you're like supporting like a Miss Eaves, right? You would buy it and the money would go to you, or buying, you know, concert tickets.
Right.
It's an experience.
Totally.
Yeah, and those things kind of make you happy because I remember.
Experiences totally do.
Forget it. Forget about it. You won't remember the thing that you bought there, but you'll remember, you know, what did Karen O do when she, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Those things are incredible. And you said that you're scared of people that are obsessed with numbers as far as social media traffic.
Oh, when did I say that? Right? A long time ago?
Yeah, you did an interview for I forgot the site.
Oh, wow. You're doing your research.
Oh, yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, that's my time spent, right?
Nice.
I could have just went on like a Sopranos binge hole, but I wanted to like focus.
Good job.
You know what I mean?
I'm proud of you. Okay.
Thank you.
So, yeah, no, I mean, I do feel like, and it's hard, right? Because there's so much stuff going on right now. So it's easy to be like, this person has a lot of followers, so maybe this is like popular for a reason, so I'll pay more attention to that. But I feel like a lot of people who are like very talented, who maybe have less numbers, are just getting like lost.
Right.
You know?
And one thing I've noticed, maybe you can, speak to it too. If I put up a post and it has like, let's say 70 likes, for example.
Yeah.
But whatever if you link somebody to like a piece of content, like a Bandcamp link.
Right.
iTunes podcast subscription.
Yeah.
How many people actually went to that
and
engaged with your content?
Right.
So when you post something, how do you feel like it's effective in getting people to go to your shows or streaming your music and whatnot?
I always try to make like, especially like Instagram, that's like my thing. I also like Twitter too. I like everything on Facebook is just something that I put on Instagram that's just like
I noticed
goes over there. I don't use my private Facebook account at all. And so it's just like, but Instagram is cool because I'm a visual artist and I really like making visuals. So I just try to make it like a very interesting and engaging and like surprising visual to like promote like a show or something new and be like, hey, here's like some clickbait visual. Now are you intrigued? And I find that has worked, where it's just like me putting something that's like unexpected up.
Because I remember Akish used to do these kind of these sort of, how do I explain, like cypher videos.
Oh,
like,
the
have
mini,
like,
I was on one of them. Yeah,
I know. And I think those were very, very creative.
I think they're good. Yeah, and it's like also a way to engage. Like that was like really smart of her because that was like really a good way for her to engage with the other people's audiences. So she has all of these like MCs on there, and so not only will she have her audience, but she's also getting them to point traffic to her.
Right.
Which is like really smart. So I think that's like also this way of like online community building and connecting with other people like in a meaningful way, not just like, oh, I'm using you for your likes, but like, hey, like let's both like collaborate together and like join forces and get like our audiences. So I feel like there's some overlap in our audience and like how can we use that so it like is beneficial to both of us.
Do you find that when you go to a show, the people come up to you and say, oh, I saw that video that you did about your paper mache tacos and that's why I'm here right now?
Yeah, I mean, actually, because I used to be like super surprised when people were like would want to like me as an artist for anything other than Thunder Thighs. I'm like, oh, really? Thank you. But now people are like, oh, no, I really like that. No, I really like that. And that's why I'm just trying to just like pump out all like a lot of content because I'm just like, that is really, one, I like making content. So yes. I'm happy. And then two, it's just like, instead of me being like, I'm going to have this big album that's going to be like, take years to make. I'm just like, no, I'm going to make these small things and just like put them out. And like, if it doesn't work, then I didn't like invest that much in it. And it's just like, I still have a cool piece of art that I enjoyed making and I can move on to the next thing. So I'm trying not to be like so attached to things that I made in the past and just always be like working on something in the present and just focused on like continually making new work without being like overly precious about like what I made.
Do you feel like if a quick video that you made gets like, let's say 100,000 views on Instagram, do you feel like, okay, I achieved something here? Or like for me, if I put up a post, oh, subscribe to this podcast and it gets 100 likes and no one click the link and listen to, like, is it really effective or not?
Well, I think it is effective, right? Because you're still in people's brains. And I think that's why it's like good to keep doing stuff. Because it's really hard to get people to click or like engage with you if they don't already know who you are. And so it's just like, but the more you can do it, you can be, because like there's people that are like, oh yeah, I saw you did this thing, but then when I saw you at the bus like show, then I was like, I really fucks with you, you know? So it's just like, you're kind of in people's brains and you keep like being in their brains, you keep doing stuff, they're like, oh, that's interesting, but maybe they don't click. And then finally there's like something that's like the accumulation of like several things. It's like, oh, and now they're a fan.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of more like of a long game. It's not like I'll make this one post and then people will click and listen. It's like I'll make this one post and people will like it and maybe they're like thinking about me. So the next time I have a post, they're like, oh, I'll follow that person.
Right.
So you don't know really like what led to what and like what is causing people to share stuff with you and what's causing people to engage with you. Right.
But what I want people to know and understand what it is that I'm doing.
Right.
And hopefully they like what it is. They're not just following me just to follow me so I can follow you back.
Oh, that's
I like
follow
this
for
post
follow. I hate
and
that.
the like for like kind of thing.
I hate
it's
that.
No.
But what I would do then if I was you is I would just put like little clips of your podcast. Because you know, like you could even do like, you can use
way
videos.
Ahead of you.
Huh?
Way ahead of you.
Yeah.
I've been doing that. I've been using what's it called? Headliner.
Yeah.
Where you kind of make an audiogram
right.
of the audio because I'm not really a visual video person.
Right.
So I turn the audio into something visual.
Right. Yeah.
That's been working for me.
Yeah, I think that's like what you have to do because you have to kind of like spoon feed content to people. So you can't expect them to click to listen to your podcast. You have to be like, the podcast is what they're immediately engaging with.
Exactly.
That's what I've noticed is like, people don't want to work too hard to like get content if they don't really know they're going to like that content. But if you give them the content, they're probably more likely to click.
Right. Because, you know, some people have said, oh, I like your voice or whatever. But, you know, I want people to come up to me and say, oh, that thing that you did with that one person, I like what they said and you said about that one thing.
Right.
That's like my goal. My goal is not to get, sponsors and all this kind of stuff. I want people to like exactly what I'm doing. Yes.
And I think that's like, I mean, it's hard, right? Because I mean, I want engagement too. It's just like a long game for me. I'm just like, just keep doing what I like to do, and hopefully I'll attract people who are truly engaged and not engaged with me because they think it's like the cool thing to do, but because they're actually engaged in what I'm saying, what I'm producing.
Is the long game for you? Oh, get people to come to my shows.
I think the long game to me would just be getting people to come to my shows and getting people to like listen to my music.
That's pretty simple.
Yeah, or like watch my videos.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And speaking of, your end game and your content creation, your music is not just your music. Your music is also part of your other artistic endeavor, your visuals, like your album art. You design that. For
exactly.
Me, so I want to know the process of you building your artwork because it really is. You really build something.
Oh yeah. Well, for me, AF. I was like talking to my friend MC Front a lot, and he was just like, oh yeah, you should totally like make your album out of paper mache. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. And so then I was like, let me think, because I love to like construct things. I like love to just think about like, how would I build a giant banana? Like, do I need chicken wire? Like, what do I need to do? And just like really think like how things are constructed and what's the way to make things like made, like how things are made, and deconstructing things as well. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna make these letters, that's cool. And then like, what would I put in them? Like, what are things that are like objects that say a lot about me? Like googly eyes, of course. I love googly eyes. It's like plastic food because like that's like, I turn that into jewelry, and it's also like really silly, like glue sticks, because I'm always hot gluing stuff. I just made my Halloween costume last night with hot glue gun. And like, what was the other one? Popcorn. Because I used to eat popcorn for dinner, like Olivia Poping it. But then my nutritionist was like, no, girl, stop. You gonna die. Because she's like, you can't just eat air popcorn. That's like no substance. And I'm like, but it's so easy. And I can keep working.
Wow.
And so I was just like, so I put all those things in my album cover, and then I like took a photo of it. And I was like, okay, here's my album.
Okay. And it definitely, because we were talking before, if that was on vinyl, that would be the perfect album art just to hang up.
Right.
Just to look at it. It's because it's so cool.
Thank you.
You have a nutritionist?
I'm all about like taking care of myself. So I like was seeing a nutritionist for a while because I wasn't feeling great, and I was just like not really knowing what to eat because there's so much information about like eat this, don't eat that, like this is bad, this is good, and I was just like, what do I need to eat? Because now I'm feeling paralyzed and I can't eat anything. So I just eat air pop popcorn and I just like don't know what to do. And I'm so tired. And it's like I'm really busy working on like art and like sometimes that's like a priority. I'm skipping meals because I'm just so involved in my like projects that I'm not like putting stuff in my body. And she's like, so she told me kind of like what to do. And, you know, she's like, just get some, you know, veggies. You can just make a stir fry. Like, it's really easy. You know, just make sure you're getting your balance of your proteins. And like, there's this like pasta she told me to eat that's like made out of beans. So I can like start getting like more protein in and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, cool. And so I was like, dope. Because I also like don't eat like dairy. There's like a lot of stuff I don't really eat because I'm like allergic to it. And so it's just like, I just wanted to talk to her and be like, I don't want to be missing nutrients because I'm eating this way, you know? And then when I saw her, I was eating a lot of fake meats, but now I'm like, no. And I'll just eat like real meat sometimes. So I'm just like, it's probably better than eating a lot of chemicals. I know it's probably like horrible for the animals, so, and I'm sorry, but.
Yeah. But, you know, I hear it's hard to kind of just get off of animal-based stuff.
I mean, and like for me, it was like fine. I was eating a lot of like fake meat. And she was just like, well, maybe just eat more like fish. And so now I'm eating more like fish stuff. But, yeah, it was helpful to be like, this is how to eat. Really, most of the time, I just try to eat like a lot of veggies, like fresh veggies, fresh fruits, and that kind of stuff, like nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nuts, and I eat a lot of protein bars.
Yeah, but the protein bars are like kind of not great for you because they have a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah, I eat the ones without sugar.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm very mindful of that kind of stuff. Or I try to be.
Yeah.
What's your Halloween costume?
Oh, it's a pothead. So I made a pot. And I made like some plants out of like cut paper, and it's like a little hat, like that's like a pot with like plants in it. And then I made a shirt that says Stoner.
Oh, that's great, because it's kind of like a, playing words.
Yeah,
that's dope. I'm gonna be Duff Man again.
Nice.
Yeah, like last year. So do you ever think about like opening a gallery for all your stuff that you make?
Oh
like
no, my house is kind of a gallery. If you ever came to my house, it's like people are like, everyone who comes to my house are like, this is you. I mean, my roommate's cool as hell, so she just lets me kind of like go ham on the decorating, but it's just like my friends that go in there like, this house just like screams you. And it's just like there's like a cardboard deer head hanging up, and then there's like letters and like giant crayon boxes, and like I'm starting to build a wall of like junk food. It's like a bunch of junk food. This is like cascading down the wall, and like I make my own like wall decals, and like
that's so dope.
And so like there's one in our kitchen. There's like, I made this little like faucet, and then there's like Pac-Man coming out of the faucet.
Okay. That's amazing. That is so cool.
And so it's just like, I'll just be like, it'll be like Saturday night, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Okay, I think I was going to make something. And then there's like projects that I'm like building on. Like I'm making a fruit basket, but it's all out of like felt fruit. So I'm just like sewing it. So whenever I have like a moment, I'm like, okay, so now I'm going to like sew this felt fruit.
Yeah. I think, that's cool. I mean, you kind of, like you said, you turn your house into a gallery. But I think like a public would be interested in that.
Yeah,
I definitely see you doing that.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's your goal, but I love that.
I mean, I think for me, like the more like art pieces and like the larger scale, like paper mache sculptures, the pop art sculptures, that's more just like my way of just like dealing with my anxiety and being like, okay, I'm relaxed now.
You're trying to keep your hands busy.
I have a taco. Now I feel better about life. It's just like, and then I end up making something cool, but it's not like, I'm not doing it necessarily just to like show people, because I think that would add pressure to something that's actually relaxes me.
Oh, right. Yeah. I definitely see. You kind of like, you're creating feel-good food without eating the feel-good food.
Yeah. Well, I'm eating it too, but it's just my consumption. I'm not eating it and like them being like, and now I'm creating this delicious feel-good food that makes me feel good. So now I'm going to like open a restaurant and serve it. Oh, I'm like, I just eat the feel-good food, and then I just feel good. My roommate feels good.
So I want to talk about some of the tracks on MeAF, like Bush for the Push. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of like a perspective on how women view their pubic region, like pubic hair and stuff like that. Yeah. Do you feel like having a bushy pubic hair for women is it looked down upon, or? I mean, definitely, yes. Okay. If you think about porn, like a lot of porn stars, they're completely like clean as whistles. And that's how a lot of like people, especially if you're talking about like heteronormative relationships, like young men are watching a lot of porn. And it's like, I think that porn is like fine, but I think it needs to be more reflective of like real life, or like they need to be explicit. Like, this is porn.
This is not what you're going to get in real life. What these men are doing to the women in porn are not necessarily what feels good to like women in real life. Because I think a lot of the stuff that's done in porn is just like angles, and it's like about like these like male fantasies that are not necessarily equating to good sex in real life. And so like I've had like people be like, oh, your vagina is too hairy. And I'm like, but there's supposed to be hair there. And like sometimes I shave too, and sometimes I wax. This is like, it's constantly changing. But like, I think whatever I choose to do with my pubic hair, it should be like fine. And the fact that hair naturally grows there, it shouldn't be shamed or stigmatized because it's like something that happens in nature.
Right. And Weird AF with Samus. So from what perspective weird are you going at? Like what is weird to you?
I was just thinking like, and I feel like everyone's weird. And that's what I say in my verse. Like, you know, I mean, I basically feel like a lot, or maybe I say it in another song, like maybe not even there, but I feel like everyone, I think I say it on High Hater, but everyone's weird. There's no such thing as like normal. There's just like averages. Like we're just taking a bunch of different people and we're averaging their behaviors together and being like, the average of this behavior is normal.
Okay.
Right? So there's actually no like normative stuff, but it's just like averaged. And so, but sometimes I think I can be a little bit out there, and like a lot of people have like assimilated to this like this average behavior where they're just like, and they're like suppressing their actual feelings. So they don't want to be seen as like outsiders. And for me, I'm not suppressing it. I'm just like, hey, I'm here. And that is seen as quote unquote like weird.
Right. So things that the everyday person wouldn't find as, okay, why are you doing that?
Like, why are you wearing colon earrings? Why are you wearing colon earrings? That's weird. I'm like, no, I think it's funny.
Yeah. I think that's what makes you cool, is the fact that that's what you do. You're being yourself. You're being true to yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's, fantastic. And you had Samus on this track. How'd you guys come together?
Well, we have kind of been in like similar music circles, and I was like, oh, I mean, I definitely like love supporting like Black women making music, and so it's just like, oh, this would be a cool person to have on a track, that is like a Black like woman nerdy-ish person. So I'm just like, okay, let me like hit her up and see if she would be interested.
So you were into her music and you just reached out?
Yeah, I was like into her music, and like also just like supporting Black women, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that Samus, and not just Samus, I think Fat Tony too, are like rappers signed to like a punk label, Don Giovanni.
Yeah.
I think that's spectacular. It's so cool because like Samus' sound doesn't sound like screaming females and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think, yeah, you two together are perfect together. So tell me about your design work with the Brooklyn College Library.
Oh, wow. You really digging deep. You did a good job.
Oh, thank you, Eaves.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, I was working with a professor at Brooklyn College, for this project called the Brooklyn Listening Project. And it's a storytelling project where it's just like she's collecting a bunch of different stories from different residents of like Brooklyn, also like Queens and like other boroughs in New York, where people are just telling like kind of like StoryCorps, like any oral history project, but she wanted to turn that into an exhibit, and so she asked me if I would help her design it. And so I was like, oh, that's cool, because I always wanted to design like an exhibit. So I was like, that's amazing. And so I helped, like, basically I was like the creative director on that project, and like I came up with like the look, I did the logo, I like came up with the look of how the like panels will all like play out and how they're going to be like laid out. And I also did some of the photography of some of the subjects, because I was just like wanting to make sure that like the photography was really good. And like we worked with like some really cool photographers as well. I just like did 2 of the subjects, but I know like with an exhibit like that, it's just like photography is everything. Like if it's not like pop-in photography, it's gonna like, even if the design is cool, it's not gonna be great, So it was like really exciting. So it's just like a bunch of there's a website, it's called wearebrooklyn.org. And if you go, there's like stories from like 8 different people. They're all immigrants, and it's just like telling about their like immigrant story.
Are these immigrants students of Brooklyn College or just immigrants in general?
Actually, most of them aren't students, but the students of Brooklyn College were the people who were doing the interviews.
Right.
So they're either great. They're people that the students from Brooklyn College knew. So sometimes it's like their brother-in-law, sometimes it's like their mother, sometimes it's just like a community member. And so it's just like the students went out and like interviewed all these people.
So you were in Maine recently for the Waking Windows Festival.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was really great. I really was like feeling that festival a lot. They did a great job of making it super intersectional, like including a lot of people of color, including a lot of queer people, like just making sure that like it was a safe space for everyone. And like it was just like such a great like lineup of cool musical acts, but also like interesting talks. And so I had a good time. I like DJ'd. DJ'd this dance party, and I was like, I'm not a great DJ, but everyone was dancing and had a good time. So I'm
when
glad
you were
that
DJing,
I didn't like bomb.
Did you like have your phone hooked up, or did you actually get on the turntables?
I have DJ software, like, so it has 2 turntables on my iPad, so I can kind of like beat match and then like mix stuff together and like create loops and like blend the songs together.
That's really cool. Did you learn that? You taught yourself that, or?
I taught myself that, and I started doing it because when I was on tour, like I was touring by myself, and I was like, I want to have a more interesting stage show, but I can't afford to bring a DJ with me on tour because it's like everything I do is so DIY. So it's like, let me just figure out this DJ software and figure out how I can do like a cool set with just myself, where I'm like DJing and rapping at the same time.
So that's your show now.
Yeah,
it's you by yourself, DJing yourself.
Yeah,
that's dope. Even when you were with Keish, that was really cool too. But
yeah, I love working with Keish.
Yeah, but
like I just am so like not making a lot of money from music, so it's just like I can't afford to like fly someone to Europe. I'm at the point now where I can fly myself and break even, and like that's like good, and maybe even make a little bit of money. But like if I brought like any more band members, then that would just be like too expensive.
I'm so like curious of how bands like tour internationally so regularly. Like how do they have to schlep all their amps and all that stuff internationally? Oh my god!
I think they probably get stuff in the other, like they have like a home base probably like somewhere, and they like rent the gear there. So like some bands, they'll have like, if they tour in Europe a lot, they'll have like a storage locker and like somewhere in Europe where they're like, and this is where all our European gear is, and then they're not flying it over.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. It's just like 2 sets of gear that either rent or like own.
Okay. And then they'll probably bring their own instruments.
Yeah, exactly. Like so like if it's their guitar, they'll like take that on the plane. But as far as like amps and like drum kits, like I think usually drum kits, people just like either use the house kit at the club. So a lot of bigger clubs, they'll have house kits.
What are some of the most exciting talks or artists that you saw at the Waking Windows?
Oh, wow. So I saw Just Plain Jones. I really liked him. He's like an electro like rapper. He makes his own beats, producer, rapper. Gosh, I can't remember the name of this other guy. It's like on the tip of my tongue. It was like 202 because he's from New York. It's like a 202 area code. And then I saw like the beginning of like a round table with like Milo. He was talking to an author just about like music and being in the industry. So that was like really interesting.
It's kind of like North Side, but
yeah. So it's like, yeah, there's like talks. Yeah, it's like it's just like North Side because it's like spread out throughout Portland, Maine, like through that one street there, and so
it's not like Lollapalooza where it's like a bunch of stages and just grounds.
It's like in clubs. And
right.
So it's like kind of like South by Southwest or like, you know, kind of like a city festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were a judge of a drag show.
Oh my God. You
yeah, Mix
like
Nobody,
all
right?
of my stuff. Yes, Mix Nobody.
Mix, right.
Yeah. I love judging, and I never get to do it publicly. So it's just like, I don't just judge in my head now. I can judge publicly, and it was really fun. That is like a really inspirational thing to go to. It's like over now, but there'll be another one next year because it's such like, it's just fostering such interesting drag and like so many different ways of doing drag and burlesque. And the way we judged, it was based off of like, do they have a point of view? Did it make you feel something? Even if it made you feel something bad, that would be like a 10. If it's like, it made me want to like, made me feel horrible, that's still like a 10 out of 10 score. If they like are bringing something new to the table. And then also it's like, ugh, that was one of the categories.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That's disgust or like?
I think that was making me feel something.
Okay.
And then like, and then the other one was, but I thought it was like really fair how they did the judging because it was like not like my taste. It was just like, is this a person? Do they have a point of view? Does it make me feel something? Is it a new perspective? Are they passionate? Like passion was like the last one, and so it was really cool to see like because like the drag was like so creative, and like I was just like blown away by just like how creative and just like innovative and just like fearless everyone was. And it was just such a great opportunity. And then I went to the finale like 2 weeks later because it was like different heats. So I was like the judge for like the fourth heat. And then like all the winners from the different heats like performed at the finale. And that shit was wild. And this like woman pulled a hot dog out of her vagina.
Whoa.
And bit it.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
It was like wild. It was like next level.
That is, wow. Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah,
like, I would have
really
loved to see that.
So like Mixed Nobody, definitely check out. Also the Nobodies, they're like fantastic. They have a lot of like they'll do a drag race viewing party, but also check out their show Nobody's Watching Wrestling. So they have like they're like reviewing different like wrestling matches.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's on YouTube, so definitely check out that Nobody's Watching Wrestling.
That's dope. And I love wrestling podcasts, so
it's a YouTube show, so it's like really so it's really funny.
That's
and they're like cool. Very funny.
How was the Buzz Magazine 25th anniversary?
That was really great. Like I was like super into that, and it was like cool to just like have so many people like who were automatically, you know, like it's like my audience was just there, you know, like I've never just had a show where it's like everyone in this room is just like ripe to be my audience, you know. So that was like really cool. Like people were way into it, and it was just like cool to share the stage with so many amazing women.
Was that House of Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that was like really exciting, and so it's just like I don't know, it's just like so nice to perform, and you know that everyone's just gonna fucks with your lyrics and your content automatically. You're not having to win them over. You're just like, and here it is. They're like, yes. And I'm like, thank you.
There's so many shows that I go to where like the artist would open up for somebody else.
Yeah.
And then like I'll be the only fan of that, not the only one, but I'll be really into it.
The opener.
You know? And because some people that go to the show, they're there for the big headliner.
Right.
So at this show, people were there for you. Is that what you're saying?
No, they weren't there for me, but like just I feel like Bust's audience has such overlap with my audience. So everyone who was already into Bust, it was just like an easier reach for me to be like, and you like me? And they're like, yeah, we do.
Didn't Erykah Badu DJ that?
Yes, it was so sick.
Did you get to meet her? Or?
I didn't get to meet her, but I did see the DJ set, and it was like really awesome. But
what was she playing?
She was I can't even remember now. It's like a blur, but it was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you would MC events more in the future? Like you judge the Mixed Nobody?
Oh, no.
Because you have the personality to do something like that.
No, I don't think so. Because, I mean, I'm also, like, believe it or not, I'm actually, like, an introvert. So it's just, like, I need to be alone for, like, to, like, recharge. And I think...
I'm the same way.
Yeah, and I'm talkative and I'm friendly. So people are like, oh, you must be an extrovert. And I'm like, no, actually, I need to be alone now. Bye. So I don't know if I would want to do that because I'm not really about like me being like a personality. I have a lot of opinions and I like to talk about them and like, but I don't think that's something I would enjoy as much as like being at home making paper mache.
Right. I think I'm the same way. Like I like doing this, like interviewing people, and
Yeah.
not in front of other people.
Right,
you know?
right. I just don't think that would be like my thing. I mean, I like performing. That's like a different vibe. But it's also like when I miss Eaves, it's not just like I feel like if I was like emceeing, I'm like me, you know? It's like even more vulnerable in a way.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like I have that. I wouldn't know what to say if I had to host something like, how's everybody doing tonight? And then what else do I say? You know, there's nothing I would do.
Yeah, because I mean, I like making jokes, but I never want to make like mean jokes at someone else's expense. Like I want to make jokes where it's just like, haha, like aren't shoes funny? Like when you know, like just like general observational humor that's not just like, oh, well, you look ugly today. It's like, that's rude, you know?
I don't know any jokes like that.
I know, like, but there's people that are like, that will host stuff that are just kind of like roasting audience members or doing things, you know?
Yeah, I've been a part of that, and it's not funny.
It's not, and then sometimes I guess it is funny. Like, I mean, I don't think it's funny, but like some people laugh because it's like not it happening to them.
Right.
But I like, so for me, I guess if I did it, I would have to just make it this like observational humor. Like, do you ever see how ducks walk? Like just really silly stuff, you know, just thinking about like random things. And sometimes people don't find that funny. Like, cause I'll like try to make jokes at my set and sometimes people are just like deadpan, not laughing.
What if I was introducing you at a show and I said, oh, Miss Eve's hair looks like peanut butter. Like, is that offensive or?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't think it's offensive. I think
your hair kind of looks like peanut butter.
It looks like peanut butter?
Yeah.
Does it?
It looks like you took peanut butter, kind of like rubbed it all over your hair.
Oh my god!
No, it looks great. I love it, but it looks like peanut butter.
I didn't take it as an insult, but
okay, great.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be you didn't get it. You wouldn't be offended by it.
I would just be confused. I'd be like, oh, okay, my hair looks like.
That's why I can't do anything like that because I'm not funny like that.
That's just strange. Who has some jelly? Do you have some jelly?
Okay, you see, like this wouldn't work. Well, if I said that, you have to come out with jelly then.
I was like, I got some jelly. I don't think you're ready for this jelly.
Great song.
I don't think you're ready for this jelly.
My body too bootylicious. It's my shit. I love Destiny's Child. So you promoted a show using Tinder. Was that effective?
Yeah. Well, oh my God. It was like me and my friend. We were both on Tinder. That was the last time I was on Tinder. We both were like saying yes to like everyone. And then when people were like, oh, hello. And we were like... meet me at this show tonight.
Come to the show.
To this show. And they're like, oh my God, it was so funny. Because like a lot of people showed up for my friends and you could just see them looking at their phone and looking at her and being like, I think that's her. But they would just be too scared to talk to her. But then they came to my show, so it worked.
Oh, great. They paid money?
Yeah.
Oh, salute. Would you do that more in the future?
No.
Of course not.
I feel like Tinder's really bad for my self-esteem because like hella people don't be liking me. And then I'm just like, I'm unlovable. I'm just joking. I know I have all kinds of love. I said that earlier in the podcast. Yes. Yeah, it also hurts to be rejected.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I'm unlovable romantically and sexually. I'm repulsive.
Yeah. You know what I don't think about anymore? Getting put in the quote unquote friend zone.
Oh yeah.
I think that's whack now. That's so antiquated.
I think the friend zone is great. Like I want to be in the friend zone. And we can become really good friends, and then we fuck.
Hopefully,
you know what
right?
I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that's the thing. I don't think the friend zone is bad. Like, I mean, I think if the friend zone, if we're like, oh yeah, we really we like each other as friends, and then like if there's not a vibe there, and then you have a good friend.
And that's it.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just it. Because like there has to be a mutual vibe to like date someone or like hook up with them, and so it's just like I wouldn't mind being friend zoned by someone because then I have a friend, and then maybe like, oh, my friend is so cool, and then I can meet their friends, and it's just like. More people thinking I'm cool is not a bad thing.
Absolutely not.
How you behave in the friend zone is what seals your fate.
Bingo. How's your Everybody project coming along?
Oh, wow. This is such a thorough interview. Thank you. It's good. I like picked it up again recently because I'm in this documentary about female rappers. And the documentary maker was like, I want to get some footage of you doing the Everybody project. And I was like, but I haven't done it in so long. And so that like got me excited because I was like, I really love doing this. Why haven't I not been doing it? So I've been going out a lot more and taking photos, and that's been like really great. It's like a really cool project for me to do because like when I'm like depressed or anxious and I'm just like feeling like really bad and disconnected, it's like an easy way to like connect with people. And it's like a really positive experience.
So what is the Everybody project again?
Explain sorry. That. I'm acting like we're just talking and this is not recorded. Sorry, y'all.
I think I did my job well then. Now that you feel that way.
The Everybody project is like a photo journal I do where I go and take photos of different people, but all ages, all body types, all genders, all sexual orientations, like all different types of people. Because I want to like, I feel like the portrayal in mass media is very narrow of what's like beautiful and what's like socially accepted to be and like a way to have your body. And I want to dispel that idea and like show all different bodies because it's like a style blog. So it's like all people that are like fashionable and like wearing cool clothes. But I want to show how like you can be older and fashionable still. You can be plus sized and fashionable. Like there's all these different ways. Like, and it's like just fine. Your body's just fine how it is. And your style is just how you express yourself and don't feel bad.
All right. Eaves, thanks for coming on. Level 15 of My Little Underground.
Level 15.
Yes, sir. I'm Peter A. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Peter A. Radio. Eaves, where can people follow you?
At Yo Eaves.
And don't forget to subscribe to My Little Underground on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and anywhere else you get podcasts.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Do it. Yeah.